gonna call me.
Yips. Oh yeah, the governor. 1 second. Welcome to the Superior Stream, episode number 8. I have, as always, well, I guess for just since the last episode, the governor with me.
Hello, everybody.
We got a fairly full docket tonight. Um, he, the governor just got the newest updated version maybe 10 minutes ago, so I'm not sure how prepared he'll be, but hopefully he'll get along with it, I guess. Oh man. But let's see, what's first on the docket? And I'm not gonna hold any punches. Let's jump right in. Uh, Brand spanking new internets. I recently upgraded, so now you can listen clearly from my internet with blazing fast 5 megabytes upload speed.
Dang.
That's I don't know, 5,000 kilobits. I'm not actually streaming at 5,000. It's actually like 3,500 kilobits. But for the sake of what we're doing, it's like ample kilobits, like loads.
Yeah, that's much better than like 1 megabyte.
Yeah, that's like well, it's like 1K kilobits. It's very sad. Well, how fast is your internet, Daniel? Governor.
Well, I am usually at around 60 is what what they've been telling me, but I could actually do a quick speed test. But I should be running about 60 download and I'd say about I don't know 6, 7. I don't know how much up speed. It's not too bad. It's pretty good. I'll do a quick
Yeah, like
speed test while you're talking about something else. Let you know.
I hear you. Well, I ran a speed test myself. I came in at 15. No, it's 15 megabytes down, which is more than I'll ever get to use. I don't pirate that much, and that pirating that I do, typically the files don't get bigger than a gig, so I don't really use the 15 megabytes down really that much. Um, as for the upload speed, like I said, I am using that a lot more, of course, for streaming purposes. Um, you you can technically stream on 1 megabyte up, but it's it just barely does the job. So I had to upgrade my internet. This is actually the cheapest package I could get and get a sizable increase in my upload speed. The one below this, I think, eh, would only up it by like 1 other megabyte, but yeah, so it'd be 2 megabytes up. So that maybe might have been a little bit better, but 5 megabytes up, really, that is the bee's knees. It is lovely. I'm sure Daniel the governor will attest to that that juicy fast speed that he has.
Oh yeah. Well, right now I'm only running at 32 megabytes download, and I got 4.28 megabytes upload. But usually I can run a little faster. It's
Right.
nighttime, so there's probably some people online, and I'm actually downstairs on just Wi-Fi. So if I was directly connected,
Yeah.
sometimes I've tested it and it's up to like 40 to 50 megabytes. So it just depends on what time, but
Yeah.
32 is pretty good.
Yeah.
It's pretty good.
For wireless, yeah, exactly. You gotta have that hard line for when you're really wanting to get in there. But oh, go ahead.
Oh, no, I was gonna say is was that so
Uh,
what is so you got fast blazing internet now. We're streaming good.
yes.
So uh,
If anyone is watching, if you are out there, person who's watching, if you're watching this live, it should be of the highest quality that YouTube will allow. I think. I hope. Like I said, everything looks good on my end. I'm not losing any frames or none of that business. However, there is something that did get my goose as of late, which is a problem you'll run into when you're creating web content, and that is the Content ID system, courtesy of Twitch in this particular time. Are you familiar with the Content ID system, Governor?
no, I am not. I did not get to research these wonderful things.
No, it's okay.
So
This
go
just
ahead and enlighten us.
yeah, you got it. It's a catch-all term basically for whatever kind of content you put on the internet. Websites can flag it if it's copyrighted material or if they think it's copyrighted material, whether or not it's being fair used or not. So, in a lot of cases, with you see with YouTube content producers, some people are abusing, their uploads and just, putting movies and music on the internet. Other folks maybe are using like tiny 5-second clips or something, and if the content ID system thinks that's too much content or you're not using it in the right way, they'll flag it and take what is essentially either a reasonable commentary under fair use, or something that just sounds too similar or close to a song or piece of content, and your video will either become non-monetized or even be taken down and your account flagged.
So basically, it's robots trying to figure out if you sound too close to something
Pretty
versus something
much.
else.
That's it.
So it's like, oh no, the
Exactly.
robots are taking over.
Right. For me, this was earlier this Tuesday when I was streaming some State of Decay. The stream went okay. It won't affect your stream mid-play, but any recordings of your stream, I've noticed, it chopped out, I want to say, 20 to 30 minutes of my audio. That's both in-game audio and my voice audio. Because
Oh
apparently,
wow.
yeah, there's some in-game audio that it flagged as being music from a certain producer. Now, this is fair use because I'm doing a Let's Play, and the majority of the sound was me, my voice, and the gameplay. It wasn't really me just streaming the playlist from the game's audio track.
Well, that's a little overkill. They're gonna have to.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know how you would go in and kind of fix that because that's like on a one-to-one basis. Somebody would have to come in there, but they
Right.
just have so many,
Yeah.
thousands, if not millions of people, well, probably hundreds of thousands of people, doing these kind of casts all the time and
Yeah.
all the music. This music is popping up. So like, let's say that you were like you're playing your game. Let's say you play a game like Madden or sports related game or like skateboarding game. Like there's a lot of like major music that are just like direct songs
Right.
and that plays. So if you were to play that, the robot might be like, hey, you're just doing a soundtrack and trying to just give it to people for free,
Yeah.
which doesn't make any sense to me because if people wanted to download the music, they would just go download the highest quality on Pirate Bay or something. They
Yeah.
wouldn't go to a janky, I say quote unquote janky, but you know what I'm saying? That's a janky way of doing it. We don't have to
Yes.
do that. I would equate that to taking a cassette tape, and this is going to age me a little bit, but taking a cassette tape, wait until the song plays on the radio and hitting record like we did way back in the day.
That is some old school stuff there, Daniel. I think you're digging too far back. You may have lost a few folks. Oh man. But no, that was what you did back in the day, because you didn't have the internet or CDs where you could just kind of burn stuff real fast. So if you had to wait for your song to come on the air, and you had to
Yep.
be quick on that record button, otherwise you'll miss
Yep.
that stuff. Oh, but there is some good news. There is a appeal system in place for if you're using Twitch. I'm not sure about YouTube, but for Twitch you can appeal the decision they make, and I've yet to get any feedback from them, and my video is still gibbed. But at the very least, I at least have some manner of recourse. So I, they're trying to do right, but it's very slow going. But
Well, at least they're trying something. Maybe
yeah.
YouTube will jump in there too, because
Yeah.
I don't know. They're gonna. I mean, the way they get money is to have people on there, and the way they get people on there is, people create content like we're doing now.
Right.
So,
Having a service you can actually use and rely upon. That's what makes YouTube so big, because you just can pretty much upload any kind of content, and that's why it's gotten as big as
mm,
it has.
yep.
But that about covers that. We'll drift back into internet shenanigans later on in the show, but for right now, that's about all I'll leave us with. Um, the next point on the docket is something that's pained me very severely over these past summer months, and that is a lack of barbecued pulled pork meat from Subway. All right. Now, if you're familiar with Subway, all right, they're a fairly decent sandwich chain. I'll give them that. I'll stop there fairly regularly. And one thing they were known for last summer was doling out what was probably the best meat I've tasted on a Subway sandwich, which is barbecue pulled pork, which is bar none best meat I've tasted on any of their sandwiches. And it was a summer thing, limited time only, and it was tasty as all get out. But as of yet, throughout the summer, I've not gotten nary a single strip of pulled pork from Subway. And I'll be honest, I'm starting to get a little perturbed. I mean, my girlfriend, God bless her, she made me some pulled pork, and it was so good. It was like an orgasm in my mouth because I had not tasted that sweet, succulent pork in so long. You have no idea. I could have cried. It was so good. But no, I'm mad. I want to ask you, Daniel. Governor.
Okay.
I'll just go ahead and start calling you Daniel because the secret's out by now for sure. But so long, online moniker. Well, uh, how do you feel about pulled pork?
Actually, I do like it too. I mean, I don't think I like it to the, I don't want to say extreme that you were going into it, but I can understand your love for it. It's a good pulled pork is good. I would
Yes.
just say it like that. We now down here and well, I mean, I guess you're like in the state for it. I, I'm about to say Tennessee. You know, we have. I'm in Tennessee, so down south we have a lot of pulled pork. But I mean, Texas. I mean, that's just one of the staples of the freaking state is pulled pork. But I'll go. Have a good barbecue sandwich at Nolan's or someplace like that. Like
But
the way we like it. Me and our
mhm.
good old friend Jeffro, if he
Ho
will
ho
ever
ho.
join us, Mister Bilbo, if he'll ever join us on one of these wonderful get-togethers. But anyway, we'll go down to Nolan's and we'll get one of those big old baked potatoes. I mean, they're huge, and they'll put a bunch of pulled pork in there, and we just smother it with butter and the good old barbecue sauce, and it's fantastic, man. It is good. So I can understand if if I'd say that. I mean, I like Subway. I think it's much more higher on my list as far as fast food places. I don't go to many at all. Um, Best ones I think are Hardee's, and then Subway is like about equal to it, and all the other ones to me are about disgusting. McDonald's and Burger King and all them just like oh, but Subway's pretty good, as is Hardee's. But I know that if I went to Nolan's and they no longer had pulled pork, I would go bonkers too. So I can feel your pain. I can feel it.
Well, I guess I
There
could
was a
go. Oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say there was one sandwich, and I can't because you brought up Subway, and I cannot remember what it was, but they had this bread. There was a bread that they were carrying for a while. It was a specialty, like you're saying. It was a special run, and they and I got it every time I went, and I can't remember what it was, but it was really good, and I was sad they got rid of it. So
Dang.
yeah.
Well, if I so desired, I'm sure I could go to a fancy pants restaurant around here and they would serve me some pulled pork proper, you know. But I was used to Subway giving it to me. I was sad when it left for Christmas, and I'm even sadder still that they've not brought it back. But like I said, my girlfriend cooked me some recently, and like I said, it was good. Like I said, I need to learn to cook it myself. She basically got one of those pre-made pulled pork dishes where you just pop it in the oven. But even still, it tasted good. So what I'm gonna do probably in the next week or so, I'm gonna get me some pre-made pulled pork, pop it in the stove, and I'll have me a pulled pork night just for me. Just nothing but pulled pork, maybe some baked beans, and baked beans and French fries. I'll fart myself to sleep. Oh
That's
dang.
nothing like it.
Yes,
Nothing like it.
dang. But I'll move on to the next docket since I can only admonish pulled pork so much, and that's janky ass fixes, which I've done quite a bit living on my own. It's kind of a thing guys do. We will engineer if something's broken and we don't quite have the parts. We will make it work. That is the
Oh
way
yeah.
guys work. So
Oh yeah.
I'm gonna go over a few of my wonderful, terrible, beautiful feats of engineering I've gone through down here. Let's see. The first off, one of my favorite in engineering designs, go ahead and call toilet paper lampshades. All right. Okay. Now, I know you toilet paper lampshades. How does that work, Nelson? Well, I'll be happy to tell you, Governor. Uh, Basically, I have light fixtures that hang down, but they protrude outward from the wall. So what if I can just draw it for you in your mind? Actually, I don't have to draw it for you in my mind. Let me go ahead and pull up MS Paint. I'll draw it for you live. How does that sound?
I wish I could see this, but
Oh,
I just
oh,
have to take your word for it.
oh, dang. Well, I guess if you could do it, if you watch the YouTube video and mute it, I think it should be okay. You won't get any feedback. But give me just a second. I'm gonna get Paint up and going here, and you should be able to see it on your screen momentarily. The add a add a window capture. I believe it would be image. Yeah. Let me see. Untitled paint. Yeah, that'll do. I'll do the entire window. Okay. Do you have your YouTube link going up with the show? It should be on my YouTube channel, I believe. It'll be on Facebook.
Let's see.
Right. If
Go
not,
ahead, do your yeah.
oh
Just go ahead and do your thing, and
yeah,
I'll get on there here in a second. Figure it
yes.
out.
Okay. So yeah, let me go ahead and draw the bulb. But what I'm drawing for you right now, ladies and gentlemen, this is just the basic light fixture. All right. Now, of course, there's wires you can't see, which I'll draw signifying red. So there's a red wire probably inside of this thing going down to a light switch somewhere that you can't see. It'll be off screen for this presentation. So somewhere off screen there's a light switch on, off, on, off. Now, regularly, this light would just show right through. This piercing, bright, unflinching light, destroying my iris, my pupils, my delicate eyeballs. Now, what am I going to do? How am I going to resolve this situation? If I
Oh,
can,
here we go. I'm looking now.
yeah, hold on, I'll resize it here in just a second. Position, fit the screen. There we go. So now you should be able to see the full. So there's the top of the light fixture. There's the bottom. So as you can see, bright light. It's very distracting. There's the wall over here. So there's no light going to penetrate this. It's just penetrating outward. Somewhere over to this side, my eyeballs are on fire. So I have to resolve this to put out my eyeballs. So what I decided to do. Um, I have a small little knick-knack, a little paddywhack, a little bit of junk. All right. I fitted this on top of the fixture. It's lightweight, but heavy enough to hold in place some carefully placed toilet tissue. This toilet tissue hangs down off of my light fixture, much to the dismay of my girlfriend. So it hangs down here, and I have another strip that hangs down like this, and another one, so on and so forth, until it's completely obscured the light bulb. So what I get, really, is a sort of Chinese lantern effect with this toilet paper dangling from the top of the light fixture. What this serves to do in doing so, it dulls the light, it allows enough light to pass through, so I'm no longer having my eyeballs singed with this burning, searing light. Change my expression here to one of happiness. Without the direct, high impact, high velocity light particles smashing into my eyeball holes, I'm a much happier
Oh, you
fellow.
were a genius.
I know. And for mere pennies, mind you, pennies.
Pennies on the dollar.
Yes.
Wow.
And
Somebody give this guy a reward.
yes, exactly, my friend. And like I said, for all of like 4 or 5 toilet paper squares, I can have a fairly nice, well-to-do Japanese lantern style, Chinese lantern style light fixture. I love it. But I've given one of my janky fixes. Daniel, I'm sure you've done a few of your own. You care to enlighten me on some of your wonderful feats of manly
Wo-
engineering?
Wonderful feats. Well, this is not much because they already make the product, but just one offhand, it's nothing like this, nothing near this creative.
I'll
But
try to
my,
draw it as you explain.
well, no, it's just my car got hit in the back. Someone tore my covers of my that goes to my back lights, and they're all
Yeah.
popped out. So I went to the auto store and bought some. They have this red and yellow tape, and so
Yeah.
I just taped it up. So right now I got this tape flapping in the wind as I'm going down the road, and it's pretty janky. But I'm trying to think. I'm trying to think. I know I've done this kind of stuff before. I'm trying to think of uh. Well, you know what? I'm gonna bring up Jeffrey. Jeffrey,
Oh.
to say that he's a genius with this stuff. I wish he were on this because this is like
This he would have some
discussion.
fixes.
He would kill on this discussion because this
Yes.
guy is a genius.
Yeah. So,
But I will have to bring up the roller skates.
oh
So,
Jesus, no.
oh man, and you know about the roller skates,
Yeah,
right?
I know.
The
I already know all about those
so,
wonderful
so
roller.
I it's time for the wonderful tell these. So Jeffrey is one of our good friends. I said his name Jeffro. We call him Baggins, I guess, but cat's out of the bag. But
Yep.
one day he said, I want to do
Oh yeah.
this extreme like skating or something. But he said, I don't want to do it just on my feet because everyone does the skates on their feet. But he wants to become the car, like almost like a transformer, where he has the wheels on his arms too. And we're pretty poor, college people at this time. This was years back,
I'll try to
and
draw
so
what I remember.
instead, and so instead of just buying some roller skates, we're like, well, we're gonna make these. We're gonna actually build these. So we went to the hardware store. I think it was Lowe's or Hard or the other place, and um, bought some plywood, literal plywood. We bought some screws and we bought some wheels. Now the wheels at I'm going to say Lowe's just for the sake of discussion. The wheels at Lowe's you can get come in different sizes, and they're ones that you'll put underneath certain appliances or whatever. They're not really made to stand on. They're made to put something like of certain kind of weight, and most of them have like little ball bearings between them. It's like on a plate. Basically, it's a plate with a wheel attached. And so we bought we bought four of those, and yeah, as he's drawing it, this is exactly what Jerry's going for. And so he puts the rollerblade, the wheels, and he attaches them to these boards, and he straps them to his arms, like kind of like the picture that Nelson's showing. And then he straps them to his legs, like right there, like Nelson's showing. And he
He rolled down that hill
he
at a dangerous
he does
speed.
this. Okay, yeah. So once he gets through with all this, and he's got a helmet on,
Did he
and
have
he's up
a?
on
Oh,
top of this
oh,
huge hill. We got this
oh.
massive hill down here where I live. It's at a park, and I mean it's a good. Oh man, it's a good maybe 500-600 feet. It's a pretty good hill, and it's pavement. The road actually you get to go up it on a car. Well, Jerry goes on the very top, and I'm at the bottom with the camera. So this is recorded. I did record this
Yes.
activity. So if anybody wants to know about it, I'll try to get a link to you, and I'll try to get a link to uh, uh, Mr. Actually, I guess I said your name. I was supposed to say Mayo or something, I guess.
It's
But
all right. Go ahead.
but I'll get a link to you, and you can give it to all our wonderful people listening. But anyway, yeah. So he gets down, and I kid you not, the sound of his wheels screaming as they come down
Oh man.
that grinding granite of pavement. Because the wheels were not made to do this. I'm telling you, the wheels were not made to do what he was doing. But he was like, I mean, it sounded like he was reaching like maximum velocity. He was roaring down this hill, and he couldn't turn. I mean, he was straight forward. When he went down, that was it. There were no brakes or anything. I mean, he was just going for it. He didn't have no kind of any kind of way of helping himself other than the grass on the side. So he just rushes down this hill and heads straight for straight for the grass when he wants to stop, and he just tumbles over. But I was crying, laughing, just the sound of those wheels just rushing down, and that was probably one of the jankiest, just the contraptions I think we created. He
Yeah.
created a few others, but for this discussion, I won't give them all away. That's what it was. I won't give them all away. I'll let him discuss some of them, and that
Yeah.
because he's so much better at describing his idea, what he wanted.
Yes.
But that's like the basics of it. That just some plywood and wheels, and he still has it to this day. We haven't done much with it, but oh my goodness, yeah, he rolled.
Yes.
He hit that side and just rolled,
Oh,
and
Danny, I was
it's
gonna ask, did he have a separate pair of wheels for his hands? I thought he did, but I wasn't. I'm sure from how the design worked. Like, I know he had two
he
things on his legs and two in his arms.
yeah, the way the arms kind of worked, I think he could put his hands. I'll have to look at it again, but I'm pretty sure that he can kind of grab it. Like, but
Yes,
that's all. Like the way
something
you
like
have it
that.
pictured is exactly what he did.
Yeah.
That's exactly what it was. There wasn't really anything much on his hands. Like his hands were just kind of free, just to kind of grab it. But it was two wheels. So it was two wheels on one leg and two wheels on the other leg and two wheels on each arm. So that was it. I mean, that's all there was. And he had a kind of a this the helmet he had on wasn't even like a bike helmet. It was
It was
to my to my
like a
recollection, it was like a fighting helmet that you'd
yes.
use like in the karate so that he could see, and he always loved that anyway. So
Yeah.
it was amazing.
It,
It was one of those amazing experiences, and we just did it one time. Unfortunately, I wish we would have done it more than once,
dude,
but.
that thing was all kinds of dangerous.
Oh, it could have been extremely dangerous. I mean, if he would have hit his face against something, or it would have been okay, 'cause those wheels were going to take much. But
Or
oh
if any
man,
one of those wheels failed, that would have been very bad for him.
absolutely, absolutely. Because the way he put it together too was just janky as well. I'm talking just when I say plywood, some nails, and some wheels. That's what it was. There was no, there was not a lot of creativity as far as like how it was all put together.
Dang.
It was what it was, but it was a good time. That's just offhand. That's what I can think of. But there's been several others. But I'll we'll get Jeffrey on this stream. We'll get Jeffrey on here, and we'll probably have to dedicate a full hour just to the creations. There's one where he goes underneath the water. He made a underwater
Oh, save it,
breathing
Daniel.
apparatus.
Daniel, save that one for later. That
Yeah,
one's
that
too
one I would
good.
say that one deserves its own stream right there 'cause we have pictures and video and everything, and
Oh
uh,
man.
we made a well, actually, technically, his dad did, but we made a wooden wheelchair out of straight up just wood and bike wheels. We made that, and there's several other things too, just some wonderful things, but yeah, for as janky goes with this conversation, that right there just that's what comes to my mind. I can't think of anything offhand that I've done recently, like your wonderful the lampshade with toilet paper. But
Yes.
now that I have a almost 1 year old, she'll be 1 year old in a month.
Mhm.
I'm sure that I'll be coming up with some wonderful, crazy, weird, just little things just to make and give to her, or just like just stopping her from getting something and destroying it. You'll use whatever you have, and sometimes it gets on the wild side, and it's like, wow, that right there item should never have been used for this. But hey, if it works, it works, man. If
Yes.
it works, it works. So,
Oh
but yeah,
man.
that's it. That's it.
All right. I guess it's my turn again. I have three more fixes, and when the speed it took us to get through just two of them, I'm gonna go ahead and do one more, and I'll let you do one more after that, and I'll save those other two for a future show.
Well, you can
Um.
go into two. That's only two I got. So I want to hear about yours. So go ahead and do your other two.
All right. I have some air condenser piping set up outside my apartment. Now, uh, the reason I have this set up is because I live at the top of my apartment. It's a two-story place, mind you. Uh, and if I don't empty out my condenser bucket from my air conditioner, did I lose you there, Daniel? Are you still there?
No, I'm there.
I heard
Sorry.
like, but anyway,
Yeah, I hit my mic. Sorry.
you know, you got it. But if I don't empty out my bucket, it drips down onto my neighbor below, who, in a few words, does not like it. So, I called upon the aid of another fellow downstairs, who's a good friend of mine down here, by the name of Daniel. No coincidence, no relation to Daniel Johnston. Oh yikes. Oh geez, his name is what is it? I don't know his last name, but his first name is Daniel as well. And I was like, I need a fix. I need to make sure my bucket doesn't drip onto my neighbor below when it overflows. Okay, man. And he's Mexican, of course. So we do some scavenging, as is oft done in my little apartment area, and we come across some derelict PVC pipe. So we're like, we can work with this. We can use these. So we snatch up this broken PVC pipe, worthless to anyone else, but perfect for what we need. Um, we 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 saw a jig hole into my air conditioner bucket. All right. We insert said bucket or in pipe into said bucket and affix it with some Gorilla Glue. So I'll go ahead and put the picture back up here. So here's my bucket. It catches water that falls out of my condenser of the air conditioner. This is not to scale. So we cut a hole in the bucket, and then we put a pipe in said hole. So what does this accomplish? I know why am I doing this? Alright, so my air conditioner is somewhere up here. Let me make sure okay, that's good. So yeah, actually I need to check the stream as well to see if it's doing that as well. Scroll down real quick. It's looking good on my broadcasting tool, but I'm not sure if it's looking good on my... One second. Let's see if it's working right.
Do you see
So,
it?
what is this? What is this? Okay, there we go. Yeah, we're good. So, air conditioner is up here. Alright, it drips water down thanks to another jank appendage which was applied by my landlord, which funnels the water into my bucket. So there's water funneling into my bucket. It's a slow drip, but it's a gradual drip dropping. Alright, so this fills up the bucket, of course, gradually over time. Water level reaches the pipe that has been cut into the bucket, and, of course, flows out of the pipe. So this way, I can divert. I'll kind of draw a makeshift thing of my apartments here. So here's the railing. My bucket was here. Normally, it would drip down to my neighbor's house below. Here's their door. But with the added pipe, it drips off to the side of my neighbor's apartment, so they're not being dripped on. What do you think, Gubna?
It's pretty much the greatest thing I've ever heard of in my life.
Right, and it was until the neighbors still didn't like it. They said that it was dripping too close to them, so I had to fix my pipe once again. So,
What?
Here we go. So, what we needed was a way to funnel the water from my pipe in some way so it wouldn't drip on their side of the apartment. So, we needed a flexible tube. So we searched around the apartment complex yet again. Me and Daniel, not Daniel streaming with me, of course, Mexican Daniel, and he came across a bit of old rubber hose. Alright, to anyone it would be useless. It was like less than 5 feet long. But to us, it was a godsend. So, we take this refuge, which is a rubber hose, alright, we saw off a portion of my bucket's pipe. Alright, because we have too much pipe to hose ratio. I affixed the hose to the extension of the pipe on the bucket, and I wrapped the hose around in such a manner that, apply a change to the diagram here, that the hose curves around some fixtures on the outside of the apartment and no longer goes into my neighbor's area. Right. So,
Oh my goodness.
so this is a very, probably the most janky bit of engineering I've ever endeavored. I mean,
It's incredible the amount of work and effort, and then it took two people just to get rid of some dripping, man. But hey, it's ingenious. I give it to you again, ingenious.
it is a work of art. I'll submit it to the Smithsonian when I'm done with it, because it is truly beautiful.
You gotta take a picture of that, man. I want to see a live, I want to see a picture of this.
Okay.
I want to see a video. You should take a video of it. I want to see.
I'll take it. I'll take it. I can pour a lot of water in there, and because the pipe is so narrow, it'll take a while for it to drain down. So I'll pour water, and you can see in action the water draining from my bucket down the pipe, down to the first floor. It's beautiful.
Oh, I love it.
Yes.
I love it.
Okay, now I'll let you pick. I'll let you pick the last one. I have Logitech Mouse Fix or toilet paper pop filter. I'll let you choose.
Okay, the second one sounded just too amazing. What was the second one you said? Not the mouse, but the other one.
Toilet paper pop filter.
Yes, that sounds amazing. I want to hear about your toilet paper pop filter.
All right, here we go. Let me clear the drawing board. All right, as you all know, microphones are fairly simple in design. For me, I'm using a headset, all right, with a microphone that folds down like so. It'll fold down so that it can be applied like so. I can put it in front of my mouth. Fairly simple. The headset the headset I purchased came with a pop filter to begin with. If you're not familiar with what a pop filter is, it's basically a little bit of kind of styrofoamy kind of mesh that covers the entrance to the microphone. what this does is it eliminates, or at the very least reduces, noise like loud breathing and other effects you would normally hear through a microphone by way of some kind of magical engineering. And like I said, I had to try to emulate that engineering because I lost that original pop filter. So, so what my microphone looked like before was just a bare microphone, and it worked. It worked fine. It's still technically workable, but I did notice occasionally if I breathed really loudly, it may have bled through the microphone. So I needed a pop filter. I've never built a pop filter before. I don't know the engineering dynamics of a pop filter, so I had to kind of work from scratch. So what does a pop filter do? It blocks air. So I need a lightweight yet durable material that'll block air somewhat, but not completely. I tried to think what kind of blocks stuff somewhat, but not too much, to work that way, And I was probably looking, towards my my janky lampshade when I thought, I bet I could use toilet paper to work as a pop filter. It filters
So,
light well enough. I bet it can filter sound.
so basically, toilet paper to you is what duct tape is to everybody else.
Just, oh, it gets better. I have some toilet paper uses throughout my house that you might also find entertaining as well. But I'm not going to list every single janky fix I have because there's too many. There's just too many. So, all right. So I need to apply the toilet paper to my microphone. So let me explain to you how this is done, because it's not as simple as just wrapping toilet paper around the microphone. I mean, I'm not some guy banging rocks together. There is a method to my madness, okay? So what I had to do, I had to wrap, well, let's see, how would I explain it? I would say it took all of 1 to 2 squares, it had to be just been 1 square. Alright, I wrapped it around the exterior of the microphone to get a size reference. After I got the size reference, I measured it again, wrapped some more toilet paper around it. I pulled that, actually what I should say is I pulled the microphone free of my face, examined it so I was holding the microphone in my hand so I could clearly see what I was working with. So what I had to do at this point was wrap a rubber band around the exterior of the toilet paper. What this did was hold the toilet paper in place around the microphone area. So if you can imagine, the toilet paper wrapped snugly in the contextual area that is the microphone. With the toilet paper secured in place with said rubber band, as I'm sure Mr. Governor will attest for me, I sound fairly good, do I not?
Yes.
Okay, so yes, this is the pop filter in play. What I can do right now is I can actually take it off, and I'll let Mr. Governor be the judge if I sound better and or worse. Hopefully I sound better with it on. But are you ready, Mr. Governor?
I am ready.
Okay, here it is on, and I'm about to take it off right now. Okay, can you still hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay, does it sound like I'm breathing any heavier, or does it sound like there's any extra noise in the background?
From the stream, no, but you sound less heavy. Like your voice kind of sounds a little bit lighter, if that makes any sense. You actually sound deeper and better with your janky toilet paper contraption.
Yes. Okay, so again, this is, like I said, without the toilet paper pop filter, you're saying I sound maybe higher pitched?
A little bit. And I did hear a pop or two.
Yeah.
I did hear a pop or two.
Okay, so you are hearing when I breathe out loud there, or when I say a word, let's see, hash, or fanny, or slip. Do you hear some pops there?
Actually, no, you did pretty good. But there was a sound you made that kind of popped.
Okay.
If that makes any sense.
Like I said, well, the pop filter doesn't necessarily stop pops, or I guess what we would say is a pop. But well, you're an audio guy. Would you be able to, I guess, say that, or does it really mean like a pop as in like a loud pop, or does it mean more like certain, like breathing noises, or like certain, I guess, how would it be, phonetic sounds you make that don't carry that well over a microphone?
Well, I mean, I think most people think of a pop. Whoa. Okay. Yeah, I think most people think of a pop as an actually it can be a popping of the system either going to um, peaking. When it peaks,
Mm-hmm.
sometimes it'll pop, or like you're saying, certain sounds or certain words will just cause a pop. But that's like a pop. And there's other words for the other things too, where you can bleed in noise and so on and so forth. But the having the condenser on there is a huge help. It makes a big difference, especially when you're um, like we're doing a stream, just kind of talk,
What
but if I'm gonna
what was that?
do
You kind of went out for a second. Did you take off a piece of your filter?
no, no, my YouTube. I'm watching the minute. I think it started spinning. I think my internet went kind of crazy there for a second. Sorry.
No, it's okay.
Do I sound okay now? Am I still there?
Yeah, you're all right. You and your
Okay.
wireless internets, jeez. Dang.
Yeah, no, I closed out the YouTube video, but yeah, the popping though thing does like quote unquote pop up every once in a while.
All right.
But
Well,
yes, it is that is actually a ingenious way of making a pop filter. There's many you can get. There's screens you can get. The nicer ones, the nicer microphones, you'll see the screens, and I'm sure if
yeah.
our audience has watched YouTube videos, people singing or talking, they usually have those kind of pop filters where there's actually a circular screen
Yeah.
that's in between them and the mic, and that adds an extra layer to the popping noise. But if you have just a condenser right on you, a microphone right up to you, like I have too, that same thing, then uh, makes a big difference. Makes a big difference.
All right. Well, that's like I said, I have more janky fixes I can go into, but we're already at like 40 something minutes. How much more time you got available, Governor?
Baby's crying a little bit, so I got another 10 minutes. I think I can almost finish out the show.
All
So
right.
let's go.
All
Let's
right.
do one more and see if I can make it through one more of our
I don't know. Well,
topics.
we have a couple different things. There's YouTube versus Twitch streaming. Should games be able to play themselves? Let's see. And my problems with being a pragmatist. And I have a few other things regarding internet stuff, but I haven't researched that stuff as well. So, any things you want to tackle since you may not be here all night?
Yeah, the YouTube versus Twitch. Um, what's going on with that? Like, I guess you've been going back and forth. You know, it's a newer stream, so that's kind of an interesting topic. I think is that will we are you going to continue to use YouTube? Do you like YouTube a lot since that maybe has a bigger following, or do you like the Twitch? What's
Alright.
the topic there?
I separated this down to like simple pluses and minuses for the sake of simplicity, as you know, that's how I roll. For YouTube, it's pretty straightforward. You can upload your streaming content right to YouTube after you're done. There's no kind of having to set up certain things with any other providers. Let me go ahead and see. Okay, good. There's no other kind of people you need to sign agreements with or anything like that. And apart from illegal content, you can pretty much upload just about everything. All right, you know, and I'll get into that other problem we encountered earlier a little bit here in just a second. There are some problems with YouTube though that I've encountered. Like I said, as I mentioned in previous videos, it has an obtuse design that makes starting an upload a bit slower than Twitch. So if you want to be able to just press a single button and everything just immediately works, it's not that simple. It's not the most complex process in the world, but it does take a little bit of learning, a little bit of getting it used to how the system works before you can reliably stream anything the way you want it to be streamed. And this is a problem both YouTube and Twitch share, which is the Content ID system, which I touched on at the start of the video.
Hmm.
Uh, like I said, it can remove audio from your videos, or at worst, flag your account for showing copyrighted material. Depends on what kind of circumstance it is. I don't know YouTube's Content ID system that well, but from what I've heard and what I've seen other people who produce content like we do, like I said, if you used any kind of commercialized or copyrighted music for longer than any discernible period of I think like 5 seconds, they can ding you. and charge you and basically demonetize your video and convert its monetization for whoever owns the copyrighted material.
Mm,
Yes.
yes.
Oh, that I kind of went on for a spiel there. Do you need to chip in or chirp in with any of your thoughts?
No, I'm just thinking about it. Just the differences there. It's um
Yeah.
because Twitch is it not more for games? Is it not more for the gaming community versus what we're doing where we have like a general show with topics and we kind of talk about things, or
Right.
is it for both? I
Um,
haven't been on there too much.
well, I'll get into that here in just a second to answer that question. Like you mentioned just before, Mr. Governor, there is a large audience of players and viewers who watch their streams and stream religiously. So
Mhm.
if you wanna share video game content, well, no matter what game it is, I would highly recommend checking out Twitch. That is the gamers' channel for streaming, I would say. Um,
Mm.
as far as mechanics go, it's very simple. Once you're set up an account, really, for me, it's as simple as pressing one button and I can pretty much start streaming. Right? Like I said, it's a lot more streamlined and simple to do than it is for YouTube. And I think YouTube is actually going to change the way they set up their system for it to be more streamlined as well. Because like I said, it's a bit of a hindrance if you're used to Twitch, or if you don't want to deal with YouTube's jankery, as it were. Shall I move on to the negatives, or if you want to comment on either of those?
No, go ahead with the negatives and maybe I'll
Yeah, I hear you.
comment on the whole thing.
All right. As I was kind of touched on before, but not really, you can really only stream video game related content. Uh, that how would I phrase this? Yeah, video game related content without risking your account being flagged for streaming non-game content. So, like I said, Twitch is a specifically video game oriented site. So if you want to do a podcast like we're doing, or say you want to do a video on how to grow flowers or put on makeup, your video has a chance of being flagged for, not inappropriate content, but just not relevant content,
Hmm.
and you can have either your account suspended or where it's banned. So, you have to be careful what you're streaming. If you are doing a show like ours, which you can do on Twitch, it has to be exclusively about video games. Like it'd be me and you commentating over a live match, or us talking specifically about a strategy of a game. It couldn't be us deviating into janky fixes or barbecue sandwiches or none of that business.
I see.
Right. Your thoughts, Governor?
Well, I guess with all of that, I guess that YouTube would be the better superior stream, as you're saying that you can kind of get into the funny stuff. That's what I like about this stream is that anybody can kind of jump in and it's got like you said a larger audience. It's much larger. Like there's not even a comparison to just having only gamers
Right.
versus this stream, which talks about everything. We're going to talk about everything under the sun, and we can bring anybody on. We could bring on, your friends, my friends, our, their girlfriend's wife. Maybe they can chime in on a
Pretty
certain
much, yeah.
topic. Anybody could jump on and just talk about fun stuff, serious stuff, janky fixes and all that. So that I think that opens it up more. And because we can talk about games, I'm sure we will. We'll talk about uh, quite a few games coming up. But at least with YouTube, you can kind of do that. Plus, you can get on there and um, you're doing your little drawings and stuff, and you can stream. I guess you're just streaming your desktop directly. I guess you
Yeah.
can do that with Twitch too, though. I guess it's
If I wanted to, like I said,
too
we could do a talk show like this on Twitch. There's nothing stopping us. It's just the content that we have to focus on would be different. So instead of, like I said, us talking about whatever, we'd have to focus on primarily video games.
so. But that's cool. I
Yeah.
like that with YouTube. And it's easier because a lot of
Right.
people have YouTube. It's just
Yeah.
YouTube's easy and like you said, it's a
Well,
little. You
it's
said you got the jankiness of it all, but it all works out at the end.
yeah. It's easier to watch for sure. Like I said, if you're the actual guy producing the content, it can be a little bit tricky if you're not used to using the tools. So like I said, I'm not gonna say it's impossible to learn how to do. Like I said, even I can do it, and I'm not too technically affluent. So, like I said, it's not impossible, but it can be a challenge if you're not familiar with this kind of stuff. But
Awesome.
Right. You
I
want
really
to?
don't know what more to comment on it other than
Yeah.
that's a good overview of both
Yeah.
Twitch and YouTube. So glad we're on YouTube and can talk about the janky toilet paper contraptions.
Oh yes. Oh man. But let's see. I'm gonna go ahead and keep going as long as you can stick with me. If not, like so, I'll just keep going without you. But I will miss you if you do have to go. But my problems, I guess, with being a pragmatist. Let me get the exact definition of that up here. Pragmatist. What's that word mean again? Someone who is pragmatic, that is to say, someone who is practical and focused on reaching a goal. And in that, how would I say that? I never buy junk. Or if I do buy something that is junk, I have it already in my mind how I can repurpose that junk so that I can recycle it into something I can use in the future. Uh, what else? Whenever I play video games is another thing. I, I guess I'm one of those guys who always has a bag that's full. You know, Fallout. Whenever there's a big inventory system, I'm always overly encumbered. I have every item that can be used for crafting on the off chance I maybe might craft something, even though I never craft shit. I never craft anything. So I end up with there's some little box out in the wasteland, like under a stump, that has every piece of glue, every baseball mitt, every deathclaw claw, every nut, bolt, and thing that I could scrape off a table and into my little sack and carry with me, you know. And it's good when I do want to craft something because I literally have a library of junk to craft from. But on the flip side of that, this method of playing, it slows me down significantly because I can spend an entire day just looting a bandit's hideout of all the stuff that I know I can repurpose for weapons, ammo, and so forth. Uh, your comments on that, Gubman?
That sounds like me, man. It's funny you talk about this because I'm the same way where in some games, they'll give you there's certain items that are special items. Let's say like it's a special kind of grenade, just for instance, it's a special kind of grenade, and you only get like a few in the game, and you're supposed to use them at certain points, they help you
Yes.
with enemies. But when I play the game through, I save it because I'm always like, there's gonna be that one boss I need to use it. I get to the last boss and I still don't use it. I just keep them, or I'll keep like, oh, I may need to use this like special kind of item. Where other people are just playing for fun, they just use it whenever and they have fun with it. But I'm just like that, man. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna keep it. I'm just gonna use it for a certain moment. I'm just gonna wait for it, and I just end up never using it. And I'm always full. I know on freaking Skyrim, or no, it's not Morrowind. On
Oh.
Morrowind, man, you should have seen how much stuff I had in my bag. I did the cheat because there's a little hack, or not really a hack, but there's a little like a cheat or run around that you could do.
In
That
the
if you do a
debug
certain
menu, where,
spell,
yeah, you can
if you do a
change it.
certain
Oh,
spell,
yeah.
yeah, you could do it forever. You'd be you'd be 0 pounds carrying no matter how much you got.
Yeah.
So I would click because I use the Xbox. Actually, I played on Xbox, not even the computer. So I played this on Xbox One. This is the first Xbox that came out, the original
Not to be
Xbox.
confused with Xbox One, the current
Not to
gen.
be confused with Xbox One, but no, not the new Xbox because I don't even think it has Morrowind. But the
Yes.
original Xbox had Morrowind on it, and anybody that's played Morrowind knows how massive that game is, and it's already taxing on the Xbox, which was an amazing system, and it was, it I think in many ways far surpassed the PlayStation 2 at the time as far as graphical feats and what it can and process, but even then, Morrowind was such a massive game with so much AI and items and stuff that whenever I click my B button to go into my pile of stuff, the game would actually just like pause for a minute trying to load up every freaking item. And then, in fact, it was weird, but it had a fail safe, so I would dump it all. So usually when you dump something in the game, it will appear in front of you.
Right.
Now, if you throw a sword, you can see the sword on the ground. Well, one time I dumped all this stuff in a house. Like I'm talking like 20, 30 swords,
No.
30 shields, 40 of these, 50 of these. I had a billion keys. I had books. Oh my gosh, the amount of books. Like I grabbed every book. I just grabbed it all. I had, this the
Oh
National
man.
Library in my pockets. And one day I just dumped it all because I was just tired of looking at it. I dumped it all in this house. And the game, I kid you not, just started like, like just, oh my gosh, about to shut down the game. But what I've seen is they made a failsafe. So I left the house because you could see kind of all this stuff, and then when I went back in the house, there was a sack. Like all the items that I placed on the ground were gone, and I was like, "Where are all these items at?" I was like, maybe. Then I thought to myself, "Well, maybe they got deleted. Maybe the system just couldn't handle that amount of material." Well, that wasn't true. Actually, there was a sack in the middle of the house that wasn't there before, and if you open up the sack, in there was all my stuff. So they had made some kind of fail-safe so that they didn't have to render all those 3D objects in real time. They actually just
Nice.
made it where if you have so many items, then it's put in this random stack. So I broke that game. I know this is kind of off the subject of that, but you could also do this other cool cheat in the game.
Yeah.
We'll have to talk about this later, but you can make because you can have AI in the game. You can have like little
Oh wait,
guys
are you
with
talking
you.
about the skeleton spawning?
Yes, the skeleton.
Oh yes.
And I have to bring this up because every time I bring up Morrowind, I just this is the greatest. This is one of the greatest moments. Like we need to do a stream on just great moments in gaming for us, like not in history, but just great moments that make us feel good or just things that fill me with happiness. And this is one of them is the skeletons in Morrowind because originally in the game, if you haven't played it, you can spawn a helper. And it can be, from a skeleton. It could be this like fire arcanine. It could be an archer or something. And they appear for about 60 seconds or 120 seconds if you're the highest level. And that's it. It goes away. Well, you could do, again, a cheat. And it was actually a real simple cheat, so it didn't cost hardly any magic. And you could form a skeleton and it would stay with you forever. And each skeleton has an AI. So you can imagine the taxing processing power of creating as many skeletons as you want. So me and Jeffrey would just spend time. We would go through cities and actually create I would create an entire army of skeletons. I'm talking like 50, 60 skeletons, and I would start moving. And you talk about frames. We went from like 24 frames or whatever it was, like 30 frames, to I kid you not, like 2 frames. It was like ding, 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 ding. And all these skeletons, you can just like barely being able to move because the processing power. And I kid you not, the Xbox made noises. The physical Xbox, the hardware was making noises when I did this. It was like at maximum power to render
Oh.
these skeletons.
Hmm.
But yeah, that was. I know it's getting off the subject of I guess that's kind of like being a practice. Like I just used like whatever I had, and that was one of them. Like I would just use the skeletons. I wouldn't even fight. I would just use them and surround people and fight them until the Xbox froze and just totally went blue screen.
Dang.
Uh, but yeah, I did the same thing. Going back to, we'll have to get on that later. But I would cry laughing watching that. But yeah, I would do the same thing. I would collect everything, and there's items that I would spend hours just in a house just picking every little thing. Like I would hardly
Oh.
play the game, man. I would just be uh,
Let me
I'd be
guess. You were
looking at
big
every little
on
thing.
the Thieves Guild. You were what's a kleptomaniac?
Actually, no. Well, okay. Yeah, in Morrowind, I did a lot. I did some of that. But in a newer game that most people would play would be Skyrim. I heard that it has a really good story of the Thieves Guild. Now, in Oblivion, I did more of the Thieves Guild. I did more of that kind of stuff. But in Skyrim, I actually, and this is great that you brought up this pragmatism, is that I actually forced myself to not be a pragmatist in this game. And when I
What?
started Skyrim, yes, when I started up Skyrim, I said, I am not going to pick up every item. I am not going to eat everything I see. I'm not going to do it. I am not going to fill I'm not going to fill my pockets full of stuff that I may use later. I said, I'm just gonna play the game like most other people do, and I'm just gonna run through it. And I'm just gonna, if I see something, I see it, but I'm not gonna spend. I'm not gonna look at. I look at every little crook and cranny and little hideout. I mean, I'm talking. I look at every little. I like will just push X. I'm just clicking on everything just to see if I can get it. But this game I didn't. I was like, you know what? I'm gonna have a fun time. I'm gonna try to see if I will enjoy it more by not being a pragmatist
Yes.
and just forget about the being actual or just being I'm gonna use this in real life. I'm just gonna go.
You were actually trying to role play in a role playing game.
Yes, exactly. That's good. That's really good. I just wanted to be my character. I just wanted to jump around. Like if I was this guy, would I be doing all this? No, I would be doing what I did when I played Skyrim, where I was learning some magic and I was going around. Actually, I was a magician the whole time. I was a magic user and
Yeah.
decided not to even. I didn't carry any weapons on me, which blows my mind. That's what killed me. I was like, I love carrying a lot of weapons, but this time I didn't. I said, I'm only gonna carry this much stuff, and if I don't need it, I'm gonna sell it or just get rid of it. So I just, I'd go into a house and I wouldn't look at every single thing. I would not open up every chest. I would not open up everything. I would just see, if I saw a chest, I would open that up and that's it. And I have to admit, I think in some ways, I don't know if I want to say I enjoyed it more, but then I do want to say I enjoyed it more. It felt more real. Like I didn't have to, I think I don't know, I felt the game a bit more, if that makes any sense. Like uh, there's more
You were worried
to
less
the
about.
game.
I was gonna say you were worried less about how well you did and more about what you were doing.
Exactly, exactly. It's another side of the game. I guess
Yeah.
what I'm getting at. There's another side to the game, and it's made for both. It's made for people like me and you that are pragmatists in a lot of ways, and want to collect all that stuff and have your house full of this junk, or the person like I was trying to be that time where I was just an adventurer. I was running around. I didn't carry a lot of stuff. I was just leveling up and just doing the story and going on these random quests and things. And I didn't care about all this stuff. I would look around the beauty of the place, which is a beautiful game. Skyrim is very pretty, and I just had a good time with it. I didn't have to, I didn't spend. Instead of spending all my time looking at the little tiny details and picking up stuff, I spent my time actually just doing more quests. I guess that way I just did more. I felt like I did more in the game, and it was actually a good experience. I think I'm gonna do it again. Um,
Are you gonna be a
I know when
mage next
Fallout
time?
comes out. Do what?
You be a mage next time?
Maybe. I think the next big role-playing game like that I'll play is probably Fallout 4.
Yeah.
That's exciting. Although, um, in that game I might have to be a pragmatist again because now that they're gonna do the whole. I don't know if you've read about it or not. We'll have to talk about it later. But
Yeah.
they're gonna have a thing where if you get all those materials in Fallout.
Oh yes.
The old Fallout, you couldn't do nothing with them. Most of the items you couldn't do anything with. You could kind of like use it as ammo in one of the random guns, but it was mainly just junk. It literally was junk.
Yeah.
But in this game, you get to actually repurpose it, like get a bunch of it, like you're saying, get a bunch of it all together and basically form it into metal buildings and things. So now you can build a whole city, a whole town, and protect it with your junk. So that's awesome. I thought that was incredible that you could do that. So I'm excited about that. I think I'm gonna.
A whole town of janky fixes. It's like they made a game about me. It's like everything is like tubes and pipes like strung together with barbed wire and like duct tape. Like this is the best town this side of the wasteland.
And
Oh.
free dog here. But
Oh,
yep.
yes.
It's but yeah, I'm excited for that. We could be a pragmatist to the very end with that, but I guess I kind of went on a spill on that thing, but I agree with you. I agree with you.
That's fine. That's what this podcast is for talking at long lengths about literally literally just the goofiest topics. So that'll be good. That'll do, pig. That'll do.
Well, thank you, thank you.
Yes, yes. So if we got some more time, if you got Murtane, what do you say, brah?
Um, it's already been
An
it's already
hour.
been out.
I
Yeah,
believe it's been
I
an hour.
gotta. I'm gonna have to. It's already past 10 here where I'm at.
Yeah.
It's already past 10, so I gotta go get Miss Cutie upstairs. I have a little girl, and so I gotta put her to
Oh,
bed. But
oh.
this time at least I got to do the whole hour. I'm excited. So,
I
but
hear
if
ya.
you want to continue, I will let you continue
I will
the
continue. I'll
cast.
continue right now. Take it
Okay.
easy.
Well,
Oh,
I'm gonna sign off. It has been fun with the jankiness and all that,
yes.
and hopefully we can talk. Me and you can talk, Mister You Know Who, into joining us for a whole janky hour. I think
Yes.
that'd be absolutely wonderful. But anyway, but it's been fun. To anybody that has been listening or will listen to this, I thank you for listening to us go on and rattle about silliness and fun times and all that. So
Yes.
anyway, I will see you later, man. Have a good night.
See you later, Governor. All right.
Bye.
But what was I gonna get to? Right. Should games be able to play themselves? All right. This is a topic I was looking into. I don't have any clever fellow to exchange banter with, but I do have an internet article regarding Shigeru Miyamoto and his thoughts on the whole subject. And I'll get that article up here in just an uno momento. Let me get this ball rolling. Let me press some buttons here, and I'll see if I can't get it going. The window capture. Okay, I gotta do the right one. But yeah, should games be able to play themselves? You get a lot of games nowadays that are glorified movies. The most recent one that comes to mind is I didn't play it. It's for the consoles. It's something like a 1880 Order 1886 or something like that. And basically, it was like a fairly extended cutscene with brief jaunts into gameplay. Let me see if I can get that pulled up. Let's see. I'm not sure if I have the title right. Let's see. Oh no, I got it right. I feel good about myself. I'll go ahead and pull this up here. I'm not sure what the Metacritic score was, but it was not good. It was like critically bad, terribly bad, like terminally ill, cancer bad. And let's see, yeah, well, oh, maybe not that bad. Let's see, user score 6.7. Is that out of 10 or out of 100? Let's see. Let's see, Metacritic or Metascore says 63 mixed or average reviews based on 94 critics. Somehow it got above 6 points. I thought it will supposedly it was critically panned, but apparently have not stayed with the news as much as I thought I had. But from what I've read from various sources, like I said, it was more or less an overly extended cutscene. And I'll get the Metacritic up here in just a second, because I was under the impression it was terribly bad. It looks like it's just mediocre, which is good. You know, it's always bad to see a major main what's the AAA title kind of style game just get completely destroyed because they didn't. Let's see here, trying to get this pulled up. Oh wait, no, that's something else. There we go. Window capture. There we go. Oh wait. Oh, there we go. That looks kind of janky. Let's go ahead and try to fit her to the screen. Or hold on. Oh wait, I know what the deal is. I gotta move it. Or do I? It's like this guy, he doesn't know how to operate the internet at all. Let me see what the problem is. Is that okay? Fit to screen. Properties. Okay, there we go. It's you have to refresh the resolution a few times, and eventually it'll start working right. But there it is. It's the Metascore 63. Let's see what's the best score say. Literally, no game has ever looked this good. It's strange to even write that, but the Order 1866 raises the bar so far above its contemporaries that it stands in a class by itself, joined by a soundtrack that perfects the mood. The Order is a cinematic masterpiece. Now, I'm no kind of fancy pants literary genius, but something of that smells like a bit of fluff to me. So let's see if we can find a more or more lower score. This guy wrote 0, so this guy may have a bit of fluff as well. But let's just take a gizander, take a look-see. What do we have here? I want the 30-minute to 1 hour back I poured into this muck. This is not a game. It's a Trojan horse dressed to look like a game, but if you just want quick time elements with no real control, go play something else. Most disappointed I've been in years, just destroyed by this experience. Well, not the most deep and enthralling review, but I'll be damned if it's not the most heartfelt one. Let's go ahead and take a look-see. Some other reviews. Let's see. Let's see if we can find someone who had the same kind of score as the critics. 6. Okay. Alright. Remember the Metacritic's like even score was around 6.7. So what is? Wait. Oh no, I just want to read this one. Oh. Let's see. Expand. The game just doesn't feel to be finished. Big fight with the last boss is the same as a few hours back. It's really sad, because game had big potential to become something more than just a promise. Promises. Yeah, graphics is best I have ever seen, but the game does not worth beautiful. But the game does not worth the full price because of too short story. That was beautiful. I gotta read a few more of his reviews, I think, because that was pretty good. Okay. Let's see what he has to say about NHL 15. Half-finished game. HUT is really frustrating because players are using boosting cards too damn much. Much? Is that right? Much. Graphics is amazing though, but it's sad that national teams does not have real jerseys. Hope next year will be better. This guy's big in the sports, so he's in the FIFA as well. Let's see what else we got here. Hate this game so much. FUT is simply the most frustrating online mode in this game. Everybody just crossed the ball over the defense like idiot, and I can't forget about ridiculously stupid goalkeepers and referees. EA simply doesn't care about these problems and just counting money. This was my last FIFA. I will not buy FIFA again. This guy was not pleased at all with FIFA. Uh-oh, Watch Dogs 4.6. Let's see what we got. So boring with bad physics. Bad story and stereotype missions and faces of main protagonists are like from 5 years old game or worse. No emotions, no fun. Developers should look on Crysis 3 faces. Really disappointed. That's beautiful. I should just read Metacritic scores for an entire episode. This comedy gold right here. Like these guys are some real literary geniuses. Oh, what do we got? What do we got? Unlucky Dice. Now this guy looks like he's really good. Let's see. What's this guy say? This is the embodiment of what I hate about modern AAA games. All surface, no substance. All right, he's too. I need someone who just got out of high school and failed their basic Comp 1 like. And just it has the very least inclinations towards writing. Where's like I need some what's that King Squirrel? Like what's his name? He did the Half-Life Full Life Consequences. I want the King Squirrel or whoever did those Half-Life Full Life Consequences on here. Okay, here we go. This guy Glinips looks like he might be a winner. He's only had one review though, so let's expand. Let's see what he has to say about what is this game. Is this not? This is Jupiter Ascending. I think I'm familiar with that. Or is that a? Let's see, are we? I think this is a movie. All right, fine. We'll do a quick movie review, courtesy of Mr. What is his name here? Mr. Glinips. Glinips. The movie was graphically delicious. With that said, this is predictably yawn, sadly. They spent way too much time on lore. The movie crawled in places. That said, the universe was really well developed. It was a living, breathing thing. The main characters, Jupiter Cain, have a zero chemistry. I was never worried about them dying, or the emotional status. The characters were amazing! By contrast, The Abrazax family acting talent was some of the best acting I have seen in a while. And 2 of 4 people found this helpful. That's good to know. We're on a good track. I'll just spend another half hour reading Metacritic reviews because this stuff is golden. This is my new segment. And I'll get addicted. I'll find some proper Metacritic reviews for us next time. I'm gonna write that down on my notepad. Scour Metacritic for gold. Because some of that stuff is too good. It was too good. But let's keep moving. Let's keep the train moving. But yeah, where I was originally was the Order 1886. So actually not as bad. I was always talking all kinds of crap, but then I went ahead and looked at it, and apparently it's let's see, the Order 1886. It rates a 63, like right around a 6.0 average, you know, from the Star critics, and the 6.7 from the user scores out of 2,448 ratings. So let's see. There are actually 504 positive user score ratings, and when you have that many positive users, apparently a lot of people thought it was somewhat decent, like at least worth a rental, you know. So I would be curious to see how it did on the PC. I don't think it was released for PC. 1 second, and I'll find out the answer. I'll check Steam real quick. I don't think anyone else would release it anywhere else. So the Order 1886. Nope, I don't see it on Steam. However, there is Wolfenstein: The New Order, which you should totally buy. Although I can't actually play it because I don't have DirectX 11. So, where was I? The original Fandango, the original bits and bobs I was looking at here. What do I see here? Should games play? No, that wasn't it. Was it? Oh yeah, it's should games play themselves? Like I said, from what I had heard, the Order 1886 was like a series of extended cutscenes with brief intermissions that had gameplay. So a large portion of the game, I should say, was cinematic. And to be honest, there's nothing wrong with having cinematics in your game. You know, if Metal Gear has taught us anything, exposition can be boring or cool. It depends on how you spin it. But if you are going to have a game that has a lot of exposition, you got to make sure the exposition is good. I'm not sure if the Order 1886 is the next Shakespeare or whatever it was shooting for. See, there's guns in the game. I made a slight pun. Yeah, that's over. But I'm not sure if the story of the game was able to carry the game for what it was trying to do. With the brief elements of shooting that it did have. Of course, I talk of this like I've done played it. Like, so I'm only going on based on what I've heard. But from what I have heard, like I said, close that out. It didn't have that much gameplay, or the gameplay it did have wasn't that much in depth compared to the cutscenes that are in the game. And like I said, it had, as I'm also hearing, a lot of QuickTime events. So if you consider that gameplay, then maybe you felt there was more of a game to it, but a lot of people see QuickTime events as interactive cutscenes, you know. But to each his own. What I originally wanted to get onto for this topic, which I've labored to get to, for games being able to play themselves. When I think of games playing themselves, I think of more of from a pragmatist's point of view. For instance, an RTS game. For me, I would like it if RTS games I played would, in a little bit, and how would I say, in a way, play themselves a little bit for me. I need them to spawn my units for me. I need them to manage my resources. As it's just sometimes I don't need to be, I guess, encumbered with the labor that is managing my resources and my units. I want the computer to spawn those for me. And you see this kind of quasi done in MOBAs. When I say MOBAs, I'm referring to like League of Legends,
Dota, Smite, and so forth, where you have your little minions walk down the lanes for you. But like I said, it's not. You don't really have those options too much in traditional RTS games. Now, there's usually some offhanded control command where you can set it to spawn certain units and such. But at the same time, like I said, I would like it to be like a completely easy to access, easy to use, integrated mechanic that I could set the X number of units to be on the field at any given time. So when X unit dies, it's replaced by however many of X unit needs to be available. I use the same variable too many times. Let me increase the variables. If Y unit dies, I need it to be replaced by X amount of other Y units. There we go. Yeah, I failed algebra too many times. I can't be spouting out these variables without checking my math. Oh, another game that really let you, well, it let you play it, or how much they allowed it to be played by itself, was Perfect Dark for the N64. And I've probably got a few cocked eyebrows, but I'll go ahead and explain. Basically, what you could do in Perfect Dark with the multiplayer, if you had an expansion pack, was add numerous CPU bots into a match, and they would fight with or against you for any number of objectives, whether it was King of the Hill, capture the flag, or whatever. They weren't the most intelligent CPUs, but at the very least, they could run around on a set path and shoot their guns at you, and that's just about all you could hope for the N64. And I'll be honest, I thought it was fun. I thought I liked when computers would fight each other, shoot at each other. One thing you could do is if you had a friend to play with, which often you did in the N64 era. There was none of this playing games over the internet business yet. Well, there was, but not to the extent there is today. You could have him set up in one room and yourself set up in another room for, say, a King of the Hill or Capture the Flag match, and set up a team of bots, both on your side and his side, to go and capture the flag. What your responsibility was to guard the flag from his bots, and he had to guard his flag from your bots. And you could set up any number of traps, bombs, laptop guns, as we all love them, to deter the enemy bots from getting the briefcase, And the idea was you had to set them to, like, ridiculous expert modes, so, because bots versus humans usually die, so you had to make them a real challenge. And of course, if anyone's played Perfect Dark knows, you can play with the bots and how they work. So you could make some bots stronger, some not so strong. So you could really actually put together a team of bots to play for you. And although, like I said, there was some input from both of the players of that game, it was a big game of choosing which bots with which certain special abilities. And like we would balance them out so that you couldn't have so much of a certain kind of bot, or you couldn't have so many of a certain bot with a certain ability. And it was really a game within a game, and that's really the best kind of games there are, I think. Oh, and we're closing in on almost an hour and 30 minutes, so this has been quite a long show. I wanted to touch on a few other things, but honestly, I don't feel like I've touched or really read into them enough that I should have. So what I'll go ahead and do, I'll call it a night. I hope you all enjoyed the show. Like I said, we'll be streaming again next Thursday, and I will be streaming video games live on Twitch as opposed to YouTube next Tuesday. However, I may also stream intermittently on Twitch every so often. But that about covers everything with this show. Press all the like buttons and subscribe buttons if you like the show, if you like me talking. If you liked Mr. Government. If you think there should be more Mr. Government, let me know, and I'll get in touch with him and see if we can up the ante on his end to produce some more content or bring in topics. Like I said, everything on the docket is pretty much what I brought in and what he could come up with on the spot. So kudos to him for all of his hard work and sticking with me for at least an hour tonight. But that about wraps it up. Again, thanks for watching the Superior stream, and good night, folks.